Everyone, man, Minnie and I are taking off. We're going to go over to the cafe. I just wanted to show you this radiant barrier that we've got on the windows, this big picture window I was complaining about on my live stream. So this is radiant barrier and it's still hot. But this is the hottest part of the day for us here in the house. It's still early morning. It isn't even 9 o'clock yet. And if I put my hand here, I could feel the heat coming through the window. But fortunately enough, I mean, if you compare it to down here, this part that isn't covered, I mean, there's a significant difference. You'll burn your hand down here, ouch, but up here, it's cooler. And then once you close the drapes on this barrier, let me see, oh, I don't want to have to turn on the air conditioner today, but I know I will. I know I'll be using it when we get back, and it'll still be fairly early in the morning. So anyway, what's the point? But once you close these drapes, right, it forms a pretty good barrier against the heat coming into the house. So let me show you something else, right? So we have these glass blocks, right? They're like glass hollow block. And they have, in the middle of these, they've got air. So you got glass on the outside, you got air in the middle. You know what these glass blocks look like, right? So anyway, we had to cover these also. And the same thing, if you put your hand here, it's fairly cool. It's still warm to the touch. Not as warm as over there at those thermal windows. And then you come over here to the side and you will burn your fingers if you keep them on there for a few seconds longer. All right, it's going to be a talking head video, I'm afraid. But we're going to be heading out to the cafe. If I could just find Man Minnie, she's probably already walking. I don't know, she left a few minutes ago, I think. Out here, it's burning up. You see a little bit of cloud cover, which helps, but it was a little bit cooler this morning because we had cloud cover, and now it's all starting to go away. Especially where the sun shines right up against those windows I'm complaining about. Now, if I were here during the construction of this house, I would have recognized the problem right away, and we would have put the windows way higher, like right under the roof line, and they would have been skinny windows, just enough to let light through. And that way we wouldn't have had such a problem with the heat. So now we're going to have to mitigate that, meaning we're going to have to figure out a solution to that problem. And I think I have it in my head. It will not involve removing the windows. It's just going to involve putting some tint up there, some thermal tint that will darken things up, and we'll do both sides. It'll help prevent the sunlight from penetrating right there. That's the living room. That's where I spend the majority of my time. You can see my problem right over here. See those windows? Okay, the first set is the living room. The second set is Jel's bedroom. And Jel doesn't seem to be bothered by it. So, I guess because he's born and raised here in the Philippines. Ah, there's Man Minnie sneaking up behind me. How's your day going?
Morning.
Good morning, okay. We're headed over to Dripwoods to get some happiness. We're gonna go get Filipino breakfast number 2, comfort food go-to. All right, so what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Okay, the other thing that I wanted to talk about today was BYD, that electric car company from China, just opened up a car dealership in Cebu, a showroom. And they're selling them like hotcakes. You know, they barely opened the showroom. They already have 30 reservations for their electric car. Now, guess what? In China, they have a $10,000 version of the electric car. But that isn't the one that's coming to the Philippines. That isn't one of the models that's going to be imported. The model that's going to be imported is $26,000 American money starting price. So it's very, very expensive. I will not be able to afford to buy. So, if it were that $10,000 or $11,000 car that they're selling in China, I would have run to Cebu, not walked. And boy, there's a lot of noise out here today. And we would have scooped up one of those rides and Minnie and I and her family, we would be styling downtown Baybay City, owning the first electric car in the city. But that ain't gonna happen because they ain't importing the $10,000 or $11,000 electric car. They want to bring in the expensive cars. And of course, they opened the showroom in Cebu, in a place where everybody's got money to spend. So that lets me out. I don't want to spend $25,000 or $30,000. I want to plug down 10 grand, and I want to drive away in a brand new electric ride. My own buntag. Oh, I lost my sound. I don't know quite how that happened. But anyway, I probably put my thumb over the microphone or something like that. But let me continue on here about the BYD thing and the lack of that $10,000 car that China has been saying is going to change the EV market forever. And yet they're not importing it anywhere. They're not importing it in the Philippines. I think that car is called the Dolphin. But they did introduce a similar car, a very inexpensive one, in the country of Brazil. And so BYD imported one, or they're exporting one into Brazil, which is going to go for a little bit greater than $20,000. I started thinking about where are all the charging stations that you're going to need in order to be able to utilize this car. I've never noticed any. I'm not saying they don't exist here in the Philippines, but I haven't seen any. Come to think of it, I haven't even seen a single electric car here. Not a real one, and certainly not a BYD, because they're just entering the market. Hey, let's stop by and say hello to Mara. Mara is here in her Sorry store. We're going to say hello before we head down to the cafe. Wow, it looks like we have some clouds moving in. I hope we get some rain. Turns out later on during the day we did get some rain, and it was a downpour that lasted for about 15 or 20 minutes. Oh well, let's set aside that whole conversation about electric cars for now. And instead, let's say hello to Mara. Hi Mara, how are you doing? Mara just told us that she's going on a trip, a short trip, to go see her family in the province. They got a little festival going on. That's a great thing. She was over at the house enjoying life with us the other night. You might have seen her on Facebook. A delightful person, very intelligent, great businesswoman, just a nice friend to have. Anyway, I don't know if you know it, but Visayas has a mega project going on. The governments, the local governments, have formed a consortium where they're going to build bridges to connect all the Visayan islands. And on a future video, we're going to be discussing how that might impact culture and the economy. It's a very, very interesting idea. But I don't know if electric cars are going to help any. How are you going to get over those bridges? Because, I mean, they're long bridges. They're going to be some of the longest bridges in the world if there are no charging stations in one of those electric cars. I'm sorry, I said I'd leave it alone. I just can't.
Please, let it go!
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.